What's going on, everyone? Talon here, and we got some more new uniforms, so that means it's time to take a look at them. Alright, so we have Spider-Man's new uniform here, the Spider-Man Homecoming Homemade suit. So let's take a look at this uniform here. First off, his uniform bonus is increased dodge by 25%. It's not guaranteed dodge, just regular dodge, which is still nice because it synergizes very well with Spider-Man because he's definitely a dodge-heavy character, or that's basically how you want to build him. So it's nice. I probably would have liked some kind of damage effect would be a little bit better just because his DPS has been a little bit low. But let's take a look at the other changes here. So 3 of his skills were changed. Not really any typing or textual changes here. So let's go ahead and take a look at them in the preview mode and see how they animate. Alright, so Spider-Man definitely feels a lot stronger since the update, but that's also mainly because of the actual changes themselves to Spider-Man's base character. So not all of the changes are going to be from the uniform itself. So a lot of the changes were based on his webbing. So his webbing now triggers immediately. So as you can see here, by using this first skill, they get webbed up right away. Instead of before he would jump up, he'd still be shooting right there, and then boom, like right when he was about to land is when they would actually fully get webbed up, which, I mean, he's in an iframe, so it's not as bad, but it was kind of annoying that it took a while for the webbing to take effect, or the CC. And also, as you see for the second skill here, he now has multiple, if I can get it here, you can hit multiple targets now with it instead of just, there we go, instead of just the single target that it was before, which is nice. And if you go from the base Spider-Man with no uniform, of course he did not have a iframe before on his first skill. With his other uniform, he did have an iframe, so he still retains that with this uniform. This was an iframe before as well, just from the jump back. And then his third skill has changed with the uniform here, so let's take a look at that. So he does the same swiping right there, swinging back and forth, hits him twice, but then the extra third hit right here is the new portion of the skill. So not bad, still a nice iframe. If you're doing world boss, you're going to want to go into another iframe immediately since he's going to land right next to them. And then probably the biggest change, of course, is his fourth skill, which adds a ton of AoE. So let's take a look at that. So he jumps up, and yes, this is a full iframe. He webs them up and then just keeps battering them with taxis and a few other cars. And it looks like Magneto's skill, basically. There's some girders and beams in there. Alright, and then his fifth skill is the same, but because of the character change, this is now actually an iframe. Before it was not an iframe. So it's really nice that this is an iframe now. Definitely will help out. So he has quite a few iframes now with the uniform. So as you can see here, so boom. So we have an iframe jumping back. Yep, you can hit multiple enemies. And then this is an iframe. It's not an instant iframe though, but it never was before. It does take him a little while, so he has to get up in the air first, so you can definitely take damage while getting into the iframe. And then of course this has always been an iframe as well. And then now we have the fourth skill is also an iframe. So as you can see, there is a theme going on here. And then his fifth skill, boom, jumps up, iframe. So basically all of his skills have an iframe on them now with this uniform, which is quite nice. So he's definitely going to be extremely hard to deal with in PvP modes, and it's really going to help him out to being an easier world boss clearer because of all these iframes. And the crowd control, of course, is going to be good for Shadowlands, so he could definitely probably solo Shadowlands levels a lot easier than he was before without this uniform and without the change to the character itself, because I think Shadowlands is going to be easier itself just for Spider-Man in general, even without this uniform, because of the skill changes. So overall, the uniform itself, not based off of any of the base changes to the character, I still think is a quite powerful uniform because the changes that it does give you allow for a lot more crowd control and a lot more damage to be dealt over time. So this is the main reason right here that you would want to get the uniform, because this is a lot of crowd control. It webs up the enemies, and those webbing on the ground there, I believe, can re-web enemies or enemies that have not been webbed up from the initial attack. When they walk into it, will be webbed. So that is nice. And then of course this being able to hit multiple enemies or more enemies than it was before is nice as well. And then you just get a little bit of extra damage on this one. That one hasn't really changed much. So basically the main draw of this uniform is going to be the change to the 4th skill. So overall, I do think this is a very powerful uniform for Spider-Man. It's definitely, I would say, the best of his uniforms. So if you have Spider-Man at tier 2, I would strongly recommend getting this uniform. And then if you're starting to work on Spider-Man or just building him up, this uniform is definitely going to help him out a lot, and it will be a noticeable difference. So I definitely would recommend buying this uniform if you enjoy playing Spider-Man or have invested in Spider-Man at all. So hopefully this helped in deciding if you wanted to pick up the uniform for yourself. As you can see, I had already bought the uniform because I do think it's worth it. And yeah, that's going to be it for this video. And of course I will catch you in the next one.